This is where we hold them. This is where we fight.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Me.
Oh man, you're already chopping out, man. I already hear you cutting out.
Oh,
How's things going, Mike?
yeah, not good. Not good.
Yeah. What's going on, man?
Not a lot of positive in my world these days. I'm trying though. I'm trying.
Yeah, struggling over there. What's going on?
Yeah, no, I mean, do you really want me to give people the rundown? You really want me to talk about it?
You want to?
No, I don't really want to talk about it.
I'll
just say trying to listen. If people knew what I was going through to try and get set up for this podcast, you'd be like, "Yo, Hoss, it ain't worth it. Just take a week off."
Yeah, man. Struggling some tech issues, struggling to get up the stairs. Oh man, it is what it is, man. I hear you though. It's tough. How was the weekend? You got anything going on? Anything fun?
Yeah, my thing's cutting out already, man. It's cutting. This is gonna be tough. If I bail, if for some reason I get disconnected or I bail, let's re-rendezvous at like 8:00, 8:10, something like that.
I might just do the show. I might just do the show myself, to be honest with you.
Yeah. All right, no doubt. I hear you.
Just finish it.
If I bail, I'll definitely try to log back on at some point. But yeah, I would not be able to facilitate that right now on my own. But I'll do my best with what I got here. I told you this was not a good fix. But no, I mean nothing. There's as I said, I don't want to be negative Nancy. I come here to talk about things to take my mind off of the negative stuff I have surrounding me. But I'll just say I went to the doctor last week. I was hoping he would tell me, oh, hey, looking good, start to walk on it, maybe with the boot. He was like, nope, another 2 weeks off of it. Don't walk on it. Don't put any weight on it. Don't put any pressure on it. Like, okay, great. Another 2 weeks. So, yeah, I got another 2 weeks of sitting around and.
Oh, I hear you. I'm going to be dealing with Mike's computer all night, I think.
Cutting out. Sorry. As of tomorrow, I will have 10 days before I go back. And he said the next time I go back, he will likely have me walking around. So.
Cool. So 2 weeks. That's cool. I think for me, I'm going to start trying to bowl this weekend. I went to Los Angeles this weekend, so I wasn't able to do the show Sunday to go visit some family. And I went to just to kill a day. We went to Universal Studios. And I walked like 13 or 14,000 steps, which is the most I've walked in since I've hurt my back. So really sore, really tight. But the next day I woke up, felt good, stretched. Today I feel great. Went to the physical therapist Monday. They did some dry needling on my lower back. Not sure if that really helped at all, but I feel okay. So I think I'm going to start bowling a little bit this weekend. So I'm excited about that. Maybe I can get a couple games in without any pain. Try to stretch more before I bowl. Maybe bowl with even like some kind of back support. And then hopefully I could start bowling a little bit more and more every week. So, all right. Well, figure since there's no league review, we could kind of get right into it. I know we haven't been on the air since the Born to Bowl documentary has been on TV. So while we have you still connected and a computer still in front of you, have you been able to check out the Born to Bowl documentary, watched episodes?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
I'm not sure if you had HBO or not.
I'm offended that you would even ask me as if I haven't watched it. I mean, isn't this like television for us?
Yeah, but I wasn't sure if you had HBO and you had to struggle to get it. Like, I just wasn't sure if you even had HBO because some people just don't
No,
have it.
I have HBO. Yeah,
So what's
I have
so
HBO.
all right? Give me the rundown. What are your thoughts, like immediately out of the gate here on the documentary?
I mean, I really like it in
Yeah,
general, generally speaking. That would be my quick take.
I'm surprised you said that
Yeah, why?
because you don't really like when everyone else likes it. I feel like you would be the first to be like, "Oh man, it's everybody loves it and I didn't like it." Because it didn't do this and it didn't do that. So I'm kind of surprised that you actually really like it.
Well, I didn't say really like it. I said I like it. I have some issues with it. There's definitely
Okay.
there's
Okay.
definitely some things I probably would have approached differently or done differently. Stereotypical bowling jokes, bowling fodder. I mean, I don't. I like the clips of the references to how bowling has been in these various things, part of pop culture, whatever. But I just don't think that the majority of episode one portrayed bowling in a very kind light, right? And yeah, I'm not saying that's terrible. I'm just saying that I probably would choose to go in a little bit of a different direction than that, right? And then the other thing that I was surprised at is that it looks like they're going to cover the U.S. Open.
You mean like covered the US Open? What do you mean by that?
Documentary. Could you
Sorry,
hear
you're
me?
cutting out. No, you're cutting out again.
Sorry. It looks like they're going to cover the majority of the U.S. Open in this documentary, and that's going to be the.
Oh, I know what you're saying. You're cutting out again. Is he cutting out for everybody in the chat?
Yeah, but at the same.
I'm not hearing you.
Sorry. I understand that
No.
with only the 30-minute episodes, with only 5 30-minute episodes, there isn't a lot that they can do.
Yeah. I kind of feel like though they have to be realistic on where the sport is when they first start the documentary. Like, I would have been more like understanding if they would have been like, hey, this bowling has been in this kind of negative spotlight in the previous whatever how many years. It's always been looked at as a joke in a sense, right? There's always been jokes about bowling, and people never really took it seriously in the mainstream media, and maybe set the stage that way, right? And I don't think they did that. I didn't really get that when I watched the first episode. I really liked it. I thought it did everything I want it to do for a documentary. I've been asking for a documentary like this for years. I think this is a really, really important show for the PBA. It does build relationship with the bowlers, and that's kind of really what I wanted from the documentary. I know a lot of people out there, I read on social media some criticism about they wanted it to be more, showing the technical side of the game or showing more of what the bowling balls and the equipment and the lane conditions and all of that do and all of that. I don't think that's the right way to approach this documentary. I think you're going to lose a lot of fans if you start talking a lot of technical mumbo jumbo. If you're talking about RGs and differentials and lane oil and conditions, and I don't want to see that. I think your documentary has got to be more relatable to the non-bowling fan, right? Yes, it has to explain some of the technical stuff, which they started to do in episode 2 when they talked about the lane conditions and the ball reps. But ultimately, the part, in my opinion, the really important part of the documentary is to showcase the bowlers, showcase their struggles, what they do out on tour, give them raw emotions, give them a personality behind the scenes of what they really are like. And I think so far they have done an amazing job doing that. And I say amazing job. They've done an amazing job. I think episode 2 really showcased the real emotions and the real stuff that is out there. The cursing, we've talked about it, Mike. How many times have we talked about like what they're really like when they bowl qualifying, like what you really hear and see, right? And I think we finally got a glimpse of it in this past episode, with obviously the Simonson chat and the Belmo back and forth and all of that. I think that's what it really.
What did you think specifically of the Simo episode? I'll call it.
I loved it. I became more of a fan of his after this whole episode. My issue is that I could see how people, not me, can also this will villainize him too, right? Because it really does show him talking down to Rob. The one thing I didn't like about that clip of what Simonson did after he got into it with Gottschall, he went like running to Hank Boomershine about like what Rob said and his struggle. Like, I don't think that was the time and the place to do that. I think that if he did have a problem with Rob and all that, like, wait until after the cameras are gone, wait till after the tournament's over, and then maybe set up a meeting or call with Hank and then talk it out there. I think going over to Hank and almost like, it feels like if I got into a fight with my coworker and I went running to the boss to complain about it. That was my only issue with the whole segment. But I did gain a huge fan of Simonson, especially when he yelled at Belmo. After Belmo like talked to Graham about yelling in the back swing for that in that whole segment. And I like the fact that Simo kind of stood up and like, yo, mate, you do it all the time. I thought that was pretty funny. I think that his story, and of course, like, you know, there was a Rolling Stone article about Simo. We all kind of know his story in the bowling world. I don't think a lot of people that are just casual fans know Simo's story to a certain extent. So I think they did a really good job just showing Simo. We all know he doesn't care about what people think. We all know that, you know, he's got a mouth on him, right? He doesn't care. He has no filter. And I think he's great for bowling. And I think he might have also villainized himself a little bit more to the public than he was even before in this whole episode. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts if you're there on your computer and it's working.
Yeah, it's not real good. I'm trying to figure things out.
What were your thoughts on it? The Simo episode.
Yeah, I thought I thought it was good. I think it's cool to portray the players for who they are, right? I definitely like that aspect of it. It was revealing. I'll say that. Like, I when I watch Bowl TV, I certainly don't feel like there's that much drama going on behind the scenes of what I'm watching, if that makes sense. You know, it seems you watch and it seems rather calm. It seems rather under control. And, you know, here it's like guys arguing with each other and running down to the boss and telling him, yo, I'm going to punch this dude in the face. I don't like this dude. And, you know, the back and forth. And it was interesting. That's for sure. It was interesting, you know, and God, you know, just shout to Simo just for being Simo, for being himself. Very entertaining. I mean, say what you will, very entertaining, you know. So it made me think what we've said before on this podcast from time to time, Rob. Like, we want to see bowling where the bowlers are mic'd up and we hear what they're talking about and what they're saying, and we see these conversations take place on Bowl TV sometimes where you can't hear what's going on. And We want to hear this. It's great entertainment. It highly adds to the entertainment value of what's going on the lanes. Like the whole thing with the honestly, one of the most interesting exchanges in the whole episode didn't even involve Simo to me. It was the Belmo Cam Crow exchange. Very interesting, man. Very interesting exchange. Like, and I don't know how they cut it up because at one point Belmo said, "Hey Cam, I'm going down to the paddock to get a drink. Do you want one?" Now, they showed that. Hold on a minute. They showed that after the ball change thing, right? But I'm thinking that the water thing happened before they started bowling. Do you agree with me?
No, I don't. I don't think I didn't get that at all.
No? Okay.
No.
So you think, wait a second. So hold on a minute. You think Belmo comes down to the pair, starts the match, decides he has to go to the paddock for a ball at some point, goes for the ball, comes back, and then at another point later in the match says, "Hey Cam, I'm going for a drink to the paddock. Do you want one?"
I think after he found out someone complained to him, someone complained to Kirk that he did that. I think that's when after he got annoyed. And then after the match was over, he went over to Cam and said that. I do. That's what the feeling I got. I think that really
that's how it unfolded. Because when I saw it unfold that way, I was like, no, it had to be the other way. Because like, why after that would you ask the guy if he wants a drink? Like,
because he was trolling him. He was completely freaking.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's what I'm saying. That brings it to a whole nother level if that's the way it went down. I thought they were editing it that way to make it look that way.
Well, then Cam went and started to talk to Kevin and said, "Can you believe this guy? He asked me to go get a water after or go."
Well, the other reason I felt that way is because his ball rep, like after the thing, his ball rep had him to the side and was like, "He's just trying to play games with you. Go get him, right?" And that was the beginning of the game. So Belmo already had to do something before the beginning of the game to get the ball rep to say that before Cam threw his first shot. And that's why I felt he probably said the water thing when he first came down. And, listen, if you follow professional bowling, this is old school, bro. If you think this is new, you're sadly mistaken. Like, Norm Duke has schooled all these guys. If you've been on tour for as long as Belmo has, or a lot of these guys have, believe me, they've gotten schooled by the older school guys like Norm Duke in how to exhibit gamesmanship. And yeah, coming down to the pair and being like, you know what? I need to go get a bottle of water. You're going to wait for me. Take a couple minute break and wait for it. Like, that's gamesmanship. Saying I got to go get a ball, finish your game. That's gamesmanship.
But then they were also provoking Cam too. Kevin was like, "Yeah, this is what he does," and then he'll go into the paddock and he won't be able to find the ball, and then he's looking around for it. So they were in Cam's ear too. Cam's corner, right, was in his ear too. That this is just the way
gamesmanship, bro. I mean, listen, don't hate the player, hate the game.
But does that put a little bit of a new light on Belmo for you too? I think I lost Mike again. We lost him. We're losing him. So I'm wondering if that actually, I'd be curious to hear what people in chat think. Oh, Mike, there you are. So does that put Belmo in a different light watching that whole interaction about how maybe really he is out there? Or is just Belmo just...
Not really. I mean, listen, the guy is one of the greats ever.
No, I mean, a new light, like as a gamesmanship. Like, did you think he was that much of a gamesmanship? Or are you thinking like, is he really does he really do that with a lot of people when he's bowling? Man, I feel like I'm talking to myself right now.
Clearly he does. Clearly he does. I mean, you could just tell from the chatter and from the back and forth that yes, clearly he does.
Yeah. So I guess my next question in this whole documentary would be, they're obviously going through every player, and they're talking backgrounds, and there's obviously every episode is going to be a player background. Does that feel that way? Where he's like episode 2 is going to be about Simo. Number 1 was more about Kyle. So should we expect next episode be more about EJ and in his like doing what he does? And you think that's what their direction they're going? Oh man, I'm out of words here. I'm talking to myself right now. There you are.
I'm sorry, man. I'm trying
It's
to
all
work
right.
it out over here, but it ain't going well. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah. All right. I'm trying to think how we want to work this because
But no, I'm a fan of Born to Bowl. I'm a fan of Born to Bowl. You know, I'm tuned into it. You know,
yeah.
I like it. I'm going to continue. I wish it were longer. I wish it were longer. That's one of my big complaints is that it's too short. It's not a long enough episode.
Yeah, it's not 30 minutes. I mean, it is the first season. Maybe there's a part in this where next season they come to find out that the ratings are really good and everyone really likes it, and then they decide to go to hour episodes. I'd be curious if the next season, if they are going to have one, which I think they are filming, are they going to do it on different players? Are they following the same players? I'd be interested. I don't think, I think it's would be very beneficial if they did follow the same players. I don't know if anybody, you remember watching Storage Wars? They've usually followed the same people every season, and they would bring in a new player, maybe remove a player or remove somebody. I think that is not a bad thing, where if they would continuously follow up with the same players every season, and maybe add a new player and maybe add a couple, maybe remove a player, whatever they think is possibility. I think that would be really beneficial. I also would be interested to see how the Cam Crow thing played out this year, if how the documentary will portray that in season 2. I think that would be something that would be interesting to watch, and how like his reaction was, and maybe even, I don't think the documentary was with him when it happened, but even like all the aftermath of it would be kind of definitely appealing for TV for sure. But I do like it. I like it a lot. I'm very invested in it. When I'm watching it, I keep saying to myself, wow, this is great. I think episode 2 was so much better than even episode 1. And I think the PBA needs to find, oh, look, we got 2 big mics. Oh, Mike. Okay, yeah, I muted. So would you get on a new computer?
No, I hooked up my phone.
Oh, you're on your phone right now?
I logged in on my phone, and I'm backstage on my phone.
Oh,
but, yeah. If I need to switch, it seems like it's working all right now. But if it goes out again, yeah, I'll probably just switch to my phone.
okay, yeah, because that's not a bad idea actually. Anyway, if anybody's realizing this in the chat, yes, we know Mike is having a tech issue. We know what's happening. Mike his original computer is not working. So
No,
he's trying to
it's
figure it out.
working. It's working. Hold on. Let's be honest around here. It's working. It's just my family left me without the charger to the computer that I use for the podcast. And I can't find the charger. I'm on crutches. I can't be going up. I went downstairs one time already. I brought the other. Up, see.
Why don't you try to get on your phone, dude?
Switch in a minute. If the people understand what I'm going through just to make this happen, they would understand. They would bear with me.
Just get on your phone. I'm gonna mute. I'll pull you off backstage, and then just come on with your phone.
Okay. How's that? Can you hear me?
You're getting feedback on the audio. Oh, there you are.
How's that?
That's good. We could hear you.
Okay. Good.
Wow, you actually look a lot clearer. Look at you, man. You look more handsome on this on this camera here with your phone.
All right, maybe I'll use my phone every week.
Yeah, everyone's asking why I never have issues.
Now why is my phone cutting out?
It's not cutting out. We could see you and hear you. You're fine.
No? Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
you're good, man. You're good.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Let's
So,
go as best we can here.
all right. What'd you think of them? What'd you think of the Gotchel Simo interaction?
Man. Fierce.
What I mean did Simonson overreact? Did Gotchel like kind of just get tired of Simo? Like, I'm just curious, like what you made out of that.
Listen, I would think that there's a lot of times where the players and the ball reps disagree, right? Or a player doesn't like something that a ball rep says or a suggestion they make or whatever it may be, right? I'm sure there's all kinds of situations that unfold like that out there. We've just never gotten to see them. We've just never gotten to have the inside microphone angle on them, right? Now, do I think that's probably at the more extreme end? I would think so. I could be wrong on that, I guess, but I would think so.
Well, it would have to be more of the extreme end because Simon went right over to Hank Boomershine.
Right.
I don't think Simo would go right over to Boomershine after every time they got into a fight or an argument about something.
Right. Yeah. No, I hear you. And and this is not an affront to any PBA player. I want to be clear about that. But, I watch a lot of bowling, and I will say that there are a lot of times where I'm watching, and even on Bowl TV, I can tell that was not a quality shot. And the ball doesn't strike, and the player acts like, oh my God, like, how did that not strike? Are you kidding me? Like, what is going on with this pair? Are we in a different bowling alley right now? And I kind of think like, well, I don't know, man. You didn't really hit what you were looking at there. In my opinion, that was pretty clear. So I think, and I've said this before on this show, and we've interviewed some ball reps for sure. And I think it's a tough job. I think it's a tough spot to be in. Not an easy, I mean, you're giving advice and perhaps criticizing the decisions of the guys who are the best in the world at this. So in that regard, tough spot to be in. But I really enjoy seeing the interaction and seeing the fire out there, and seeing those types of interactions,
So for anybody out there who's listening or watching, doesn't know Rob Gotchel, Rob Gotchel is, in my opinion, one of, if not the best ball rep on tour. Right? I'd say one of the best, right? Like Hammer, when he was with Hammer and they lost Hammer and they went to Storm, we talked about it on the show. I mean, how many tour reps do we talk about that leave one company to go to the other is actually to us any kind of like news, right? But Gotchel is very, very respected, and he's I do think, though, it is up to the player to ultimately make the decisions based on what they're doing and taking the advice from the tour rep. If the tour rep is giving him advice and it doesn't work, and then the PBA pro gets annoyed about it, I think it's a hard position to put the ball rep in because, yeah, like you as a pro also followed his advice, right? So it's a heat of the moment type thing. I think when you see a coach in a football game get into it with a player, right? It's one of those type of moments where you see a player arguing with the head coach, and then the player gets a bad rap or the head coach gets a bad rap. But ultimately, I think they'll work it out. They'll squash it, and then it'll be like water under the bridge. But it is an interesting interaction. I do think that Simo could have probably approached Gotchel better, right? In a sense, right? And just the way he like talked to him, it almost felt like he was like yelling at him or saying like, "Hey, like, what do you think I should do?" Like, kind of like yelling at him, and then Gotchel just kind of got pissed about the way Simon was speaking to him in that kind of tone, and then Gotchel just gave him an honest like, "Hey, throw it better," and Simon just couldn't take it. Like, what is this? Is this what they're paying you for? Like, awesome interaction to watch though, and I think I would love to see that every week. Like,
yeah, I also think like, you know how sometimes in a professional sporting game, you'll see like two players get into it on the sidelines, or you'll see a coach and a player get into it on the sidelines, and like the media and fans, they automatically want to jump on that and give the impression that there's some kind of problem between that player and that coach or those two players. And that's not always the case. Like sometimes things happen in the heat of battle. Sometimes things happen in the heat of competition. These guys are hot. Like they're bowling for their living. They're trying to win this, this tournament in particular is worth $100,000. Right. So yeah, I understand, I understand that sometimes in the heat of battle, in the heat of competition, things are going to be said. You probably have to leave it out on the lanes. You probably have to have a quick conversation about it at some point, moving forward. But it definitely gave me a couple things to think about. And yeah, Ryan in the chat points out one. I actually had a conversation with somebody earlier in the week about that very subject, and I'd like to get into that. But it also made me think, man, the ball rep should be happy that bowling has things organized the way it does, and it's not like golf where the players are the ones paying you and selecting you. Because my goodness, like ball reps would be getting fired left and right every week. It would be like a steady stream of ball reps coming in and out, judging by the early tone of this documentary anyway, of this show. And then, yeah, my other thought, and again, I had a conversation with someone about this earlier this week, was would bowling be better off? Would professional bowling be better off? Or I could put it different ways. How would it change the landscape of professional bowling if ball reps were not allowed?
okay, so I have two questions to this. Well, one question for this. Would they not be allowed to give in squad or in tournament advice? Meaning, if they're bowling 8 games, a tour rep would not be allowed to give advice from once the game starts or once practice starts to when the game is finished, or would they just not be allowed at the tournaments at all?
I don't know. I can think of several different variations of this rule, right? But I guess let's say for argument's sake, because listen, if they're there, if they're in the building, if they're on the premises, conversations are going to be had. People are going to find ways to communicate the information that they're trying to communicate.
It's an interesting conversation.
You might have ball reps standing in the back with little signs like it's college football, like, oh, do this, do that, know the symbols. So I would say let's assume for argument's sake that they're totally banned.
I like that. And I'll tell you why I like that. You're going to force the player to learn a whole new aspect of the game that they might not be very strong in. And I'll give you some advice, personal experience. I bowled the World Series of Bowling one year, and I was hanging around for 2 weeks with best bowlers in the world, Bill, Belmonte, Fagan, Tommy Jones. I mean, I lived in the house with them. I literally was with them for a week and a half. There were times when they would bowl finals of tournaments, or they would walk into the bowling center that morning to bowl a finals, and they would have like, I think I saw one time where they had almost 6 to 7 new balls already drilled waiting for them when they walked into the building. Now, if you're a new rookie on tour, you're not getting the same attention as the top player in the world from the ball rep, right? So in a sense, the rich get richer, right? Because the ball reps now are spending all their time with the best player in the world, putting together an arsenal and a game plan, and then you have your guys who are in your whatever 30, 40 rank that are bowling, whatever it is, right? Lower players that aren't getting the same attention from the ball reps. I think it's going to force players to not only learn how to lay out their own bowling balls, learn the equipment, learn the balls. It literally makes them, I think, a lot better. It makes it a lot harder. And I think it would be very interesting to take the ball reps out of play for a whole tournament and see what would happen.
Agreed. I think it has a major effect, and I also feel like the technical aspect of the game in that manner is such a big part of the game at this point that the players who understand it should be rewarded for it. No.
Yeah. I'm gonna put you on mic while I'm talking. I guess there's some feedback. I do think that they earned it. The top players in the world have earned the right to have the ball reps and have the attention and do all that. But there's also a part of me. It's like, well, how much was the ball rep contributing to getting that player to be the best in the world, right? If you remove that tour rep from the player and they didn't have it at all at the tournament at all, like there's nobody there and they're figuring things out, how many more or less titles would they have won in their careers? I mean, it's a big what if, but it's a fun what if to ask, right?
For sure.
But I like the fact that the documentary is showing a lot of that. It's showing some of the technical stuff that their players are going through. It talked about all the bowling balls, and it talked about the tour reps. It talked about the lane conditions, and it showed it almost like a Tetris. I remember being obstacles and all of that. And I do like the fact that they are introducing people to that side of the game, which is very important. That it's showing the fans that it's not just a person throwing a bowling ball at pins like maybe a non-bowler would think it is. This is showing a whole new aspect of the game. It's showing everything that we want the fans to see, but it's also diving into a lot of the emotions and what these players are going through on a week-to-week basis. So I do like that in a sense. So I think the documentary has been a really, really good one so far. And I'm kind of interested to see where they take it in a sense. Did I lose you?
No, agreed.
Okay, cool.
I'm still here.
Yeah, I am hearing feedback though, so I'm not sure. When I talk, at least. Is there anything coming from a microphone?
I don't have anything turned on. It's my phone. I don't have anything. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll just have to figure it out. All right, Mike, you want to talk about awards? I don't know what happened to Mike. Can you guys hear me? Mike's struggling today in the technical side of things right now, people. Anyway, so I'm going to read some comments here while Mike is trying to get his stuff together. Tobias says Sean Rash said he would bull rep for Simo. I mean, that would be an interesting pair. No, is he Sean Rash? I got to mute Mike. Okay, let's see. Alex Dyke, what's up, Alex? Regardless of how it's going to need, you have to have mutual respect. I'm pretty sure there is a mutual respect there with Simo and Gottschall. Like I said, the whole part that annoyed me a little bit was the fact that like Simo went running to Hank, who's Gottschall's boss and who's a senior VP at Storm. I like I said before, yes, maybe he had a right to complain about Gottschall and the way that whole interaction went, but I would have saved that for that should be a closed door conversation. That's just my opinion. But I come from also corporate America, and those type of conversations I wouldn't have on the floor, especially if I knew a camera crew was following me around. I just heat of the moment type battle between Gottschall and Simo. I just probably would have waited for the right time to maybe sit down with Gottschall and sit down with Hank and be like, hey, like, I just didn't appreciate the way that whole thing went down. And when I'm bowling, I expect, you to like help me and not kind of just tell me to throw it better. So some people in the chat are saying that Rob was out of line. Steve Patterson, what's up, man? I bowled a team challenge with Rob. He's a great bowler too. Gottschall's a great bowler, but he was out of line. Possibly was out of line. I think Simo though was out of line too, running to Hank too. Didn't realize that that was Rob's boss. Oh, that's Rob's like boss's boss. Like Hank is like a second or third up there in Storm. You could look him up and look his what his senior title was. Let's see. What's up, Eric Thornston? I think that's my candlepin guy, the candlepin pro. A very high score happened during a live candlepin tournament the past weekend. Pro candlepin bowler Josh Daly had an astonishing 193. It's on a YouTube short. That's a big score, 193, I think, right? I don't know a lot about candlepin. Rob spoke the truth and should not have. Part of being a ball rep coach is being a therapist. Your voice needs to be calm and soothing. I kind of feel like, yes. I mean, you saw that interaction between Dino Castillo and Gary Haynes with kissing your wife and all of that. I think that, and we've had Dino on plenty of times where Dino would be like soothing and therapy, but I think the tour reps too also probably get fed up with the pros always consistently complaining and bitching about stuff. And I think that Gottschall just got the best of them at that point. So Flanagan, what's good, man? Flanagan says bowlers and ball reps are both in the heat of it with a ton of pressure. Rob is black and white, Simo is strong-minded. Those situations happen with such strong personalities. Other reps coddle, not Rob. Yeah, I mean, you have two strong personalities between Gottschall and Simo in the heat of the moment. Like I said, any sports team that has really strong personalities between head coaches and players, they're going to get into a fight on the sidelines. And unfortunately, it happens in front of the cameras. And then guess what happens on the radio stations and all the talk show? All of a sudden, the player gets blamed. The coach gets blamed. This person's not a team player. This person's coddled. This person's this. It's just out there for everybody to interpret, right? So people are going to blame Simo. People are going to blame Gottschall. I blame the heat of the moment. U.S. Open, Simo struggling, looking for a ball reaction. He's probably talking, complaining a lot. He's not finding anything. He needs some help. He feels lost. And then Gottschall comes and says, well, you didn't throw that one good, throw it better. I kind of feel like it's definitely just kind of a volcano that was slowly heating up and eventually just blew up in front of an HBO documentary crew that is now able for us to see it, right? When previously we weren't seeing all those interactions. I'd be curious to what Rob Gottschall actually thought of how he was perceived or how it looked on camera compared to what really happened. So yeah, Mark, what's up, Mark? Mark Moffitt. Dino is the nice guy. He even admits it. Yeah, Dino's nice for sure. I know Dino too. Probably has to once in a while tell the pro, right? You would think, hey, like it's time for you to start throwing it good because you didn't make a good shot there. But it's crazy how how they have that interaction. And Steve Patterson says, yeah, have Rob come on the show. I could reach out to Gottschall. I would love to have him on the show. He's a good dude, great personality, knows what he's talking about, great bowler. Flanagan says they were painting Simo as the hothead, and Gottschall wasn't going to get his side of it told because he really isn't a focus on the show. At the same time, Simo needed help and didn't like that answer. I mean, that's a fair point. They did label him the hothead. Flanagan, I'd be curious to hear your thoughts if you thought that they kind of villainized or vilified, right, is probably the right word, Simo in that episode, because you would imagine people like me loved it and became a Simo fan because of just the raw emotion. But you would think there are a lot of people didn't perceive that episode really well for Simo and made him seem like a bad guy, right? Like the way he was cursing and the way he was kicking things and blowing up, and then he had that interaction with Gotchel. I would think he got a little bit vilified. I think Belmo also, I think, got a little bit vilified too in that interaction with Cam Crow. How he came off, I think he came off a little bit vilified in that sense. I do think that it showed Belmo's gamesmanship side, which I think we've seen pass before in certain like TV episodes. Obviously, the rash interaction with the bottle, the Brad Angelo gamesmanship that he was doing. I kind of feel like there's just been a lot of, you've seen a little bit bits and pieces with Belmo. But I do think that this episode, you saw a lot more of it. And I'd be curious to hear what people's thoughts on Belmo, and if we thought as fans watching that he looked like the bad guy in this episode, in a sense, like, oh, Belmo has it in him too to do a lot of gamesmanship, not just a little bit. Mark, what's up, man? Didn't understand Simo's complaint about Belmo. Surely he isn't suggesting Belmo purposely yells at players during a key moment in their downswing of a shot. Seems like the context has been missing there. None of that was cleared up in the moment or during the show. I agree. I think they needed to ask Simo what he was referring to when he made that comment about Belmo, because I don't think people had context. I don't think people knew what he was talking about. I don't think Belmo purposely yells in people's backswings. I don't believe that at all. I think, though, in my opinion, what Simo was probably referring to was that Belmo has in the past yelled or maybe got emotional when he threw a bad shot and has caught other people in their swings, right? The unfortunate part of this whole thing that happened with Belmo and Graham Fye yelling in his swing was it was at the worst possible time for Belmo. Belmo needed whatever it was, a strike or a spare at the time, to make a U.S. Open show, let alone if it was a top 9 show. It still was a show to U.S. Open. If anybody could run a 8-person or 9-person ladder, it could be Belmo. Getting on the show is obviously more money for the pro in itself, so they want to get on the show. And it would just happen to happen at the worst possible time for Belmo. So obviously Belmo had the right to be angry. If that was me, I would have been furious. And I don't know how I would have reacted, but I know Belmo for sure had a right to be angry at that possible time. And I probably didn't matter who it was. I probably would have yelled at them. But I think that's what Simon was referring to, if you ask my opinion on that. Flanagan, what's up, man? Most definitely they did. They only put the bad stuff on, but then have him crying about it. If bowling didn't exist, he would be homeless. It's theatrics, all true, but not what the player is like always. Of course, yeah, the documentaries are gonna do a really good job in the editing process, right? And they're gonna like really show the interesting parts. And they were filming all year, so all season, I should say. So they're gonna cut a lot of to the things that is entertaining and people want to see, which I appreciate, because I don't want to see them just bowling. I want to see this type of stuff, and I'm appreciative of it because it's been great as a fan watching. Flanagan, Simon was pissed because he was going to have to bowl show 1. He would have lashed out at anything. Belmo was at the camera in my face like Weber did, something to get mad at. Yeah, Simo was definitely annoyed that he had to make that show and bowl that match. I think he even made a comment about the PBA, was the blind leading the blind. I thought that was an interesting comment, taking a shot at the PBA about the ladder, about the extra show. So I think that was an interesting point. Mike, are you back?
Yeah, I'm trying, bro.
It's all right. I'm talking about how Simo made that comment about the blind leading the blind, about the PBA making the second show of the step ladder.
Right.
I thought that was interesting because Simo, I wonder if he'll get fined or did get fined for that comment. I wonder if does the PBA go back in this documentary and watch these comments, and will the PBA fine them for these comments that they're making in this documentary, or would they sign a waiver? That's a curious question that I have. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I mean, I could picture the PBA fining guys for what they say on the documentary, but I think it's tough to get guys to agree to do a documentary if you're going to fine them for all the negative things they say.
Yeah, but what if like someone like Simo, like let's just say in his interview or when he was talking to the camera crew or he's at his house and he just starts talking about lane conditions and things, like you would think that they would have an agreement with the PBA, like, hey, it's all fair, right? Like it's all fair game, right? Like,
right.
But because Simon was talking about all of the fines that he gets and stuff, and I'm sure I would love to know the amount of money though. He forgot to mention how much money he paid. I would have asked like, well, how many fines? How much money did you like pay in fines? Right? I think that would have been an interesting question for the fans, but. Anyway, all right, Mike, you want to try to get through the league awards here?
Yeah, sure.
Or the league awards.
Can you do me a favor and can you send me an invite to my email, to my 215 email?
Yeah.
Can you do that real quick? Because I think if you do that, I might be able to access that.
Okay, give me
See
a
if
sec.
I can do that real quick.
Yeah, give me a sec here. The Gmail one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That is sent. Cool. All right. Well, let's talk tournament review while I have this email being sent. Let's talk. You want to talk about the ladder yesterday and the PBA Indiana Classic. So this show wasn't the greatest, in my opinion.
One way of putting it.
It was a tough show to watch. It just matches weren't really close. I think you'd want to talk Ryan Barnes, EJ Tackett match. I just think Ryan Barnes is continuously struggle on the show. He's having like his old man had issues bowling on the show when he first came on the scene, just not being able to get comfortable, not making shots. I think that you come out of the gate bowling EJ Tackett, who bowls 240. You're gonna have to throw a big game with your legs not under you, and it just kind of was a runaway.
Yeah, I think ball choice a little bit. Seemed like he didn't have a real solid handle on ball choice there. Using two different balls on two different lanes and then switch to the other ball in the other lane at one point in the game. So, listen, we have heard a lot of PBA players talk about how quickly one game goes on TV, right? So if you make a mistake in terms of your ball selection and what you're doing there, yeah, that's, it's almost like a fatal error.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when you bowling a killer like Tackett, who I thought, to be honest with you, was going to run this ladder. I did, especially after the match too, when he kind of ran away and beat Timmy Tan, who obviously starts out missing a 10-pin nerves, and EJ just had the game in hand pretty much all game. Not really a whole lot to talk about with this match. I just kind of feel like I'm glad I was out of town betting, because I probably would have bet Tackett and the over, because I kind of feel like the scoring was high, and it definitely would have been a tough show to bet over and unders because EJ bowls 202, beats Timmy 172, and then bowls Marshall and EJ. And I mean, this was a great match, right? I think EJ in the 10th frame was starting to kind of show a little bit of old show demons, Mike, would you say? Where if he would cut it short and then go right through the face and leave 4 or 5.
Yeah, it wasn't the best game that I've seen him bowl on TV, but at the same time, I mean, it was his third game in this step ladder, and yeah, I mean, event. That's why it's so hard to run the ladder, right? Because eventually, even on a shot where you throw it, what you think is pretty good, you're probably going to get an unexpected reaction that that costs you in some way, right? And I think that's kind of what we saw here, And not to mention, I mean, Marshall Kent comes out and just goes serial killer mode, knowing that he's bowling EJ and has to compete with that. So, he bowled an excellent game that didn't give EJ any room for error either. So,
I do want to though talk about Marshall for a sec. I was very impressed with Marshall and where he's letting the ball go on his downswing. I feel like he's really worked at getting his hand smoother down like through the release when he is always, and he has the ability to hit up on it. And I think that's his comfort zone, is getting left and really hitting up on it. And I've seen a lot improvements in the him letting his release like kind of get down earlier in his downswing, and it seems like he's a lot more comfortable doing that. When in past you've seen Marshall want to hit up on it and then making bad shots. So I think this game specifically, you saw a very, very good Marshall Kent, and then in the infamous last game, you saw Marshall, like the demons come out in a sense, missing the head pin left, doing all the like things that he would normally do on TV. But I mean, Boog was lost from the get-go. Like there was no I'm trying to like word this the right way. He just didn't have he didn't like have any seem like game plan here. Like maybe he did, but it just nothing was working.
Well, his game plan was your thing. And quite frankly, it didn't work. I mean, it didn't look real good. And then when he went to the reactive, I think a combination of the ball reaction not being great and his shot making not being so great on those particular shots made that look even worse. No?
Yeah. I don't think option B wasn't a good option for him. I think he used urethane. I would imagine he used it a lot to get to where he was. And we've talked about the urethane handcuff a lot, right, Mike? When urethane stops working, you don't have an option B, or your game plan B is just not a very good option. And I think this was a good example of it, right? Like his urethane, the blanes completely changed and weren't what probably he saw all week because of the TV show. Probably, I'd imagine there was a lot of practicing on him. I'd imagine Ryan Barnes used urethane. I'd imagine with the Timmy Tan and Marshall Kent and EJ, like there weren't any lefties on this show, Mike. So the right side got weird, and his urethane was just dead. and he just didn't have his option B, just was dead too, and just couldn't find a way to stay clean. Marshall, on the other hand, was struggling just as bad, right? Obviously, but Marshall put together what is that? Like 3, 4 in a row at the end of the game, made a ball switch, move left, and found a way to get it done and win. And yeah, this is the lowest scoring championship match in the history of the PBA. Marshall bowled 152, Boog bowled 136. But ultimately, when you're getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, Mike, and they're talking about your tour titles, and they're talking about your wins and how much money you won, nobody remembers you bowling 152 to win. Nobody remembers that. Mike, if you told me right now, hey, you bowl 150 and win a PBA title, I mean, who would say no to that? He found a way to win. He found a way. And I know EJ is probably kicking himself because I know EJ would have bowled 130, above 130. So I think, yeah, props to Marshall for finding a way to win. It was ugly. It was nasty, but a win's a win, right?
Yeah, I agree. A win's a win, and you're right. In the end, no one's really going to go over the semantics of the final scores of your titles, etc. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you already alluded to it. Like this one was, this one was one for the history books, no doubt.
Yeah, this is here. Matt Gibney says, "I'll remember a 152 that wins." Matt's the type of guy who, when they announce Marshall Kent's they're the type of guy when they announce Marshall Kent's Hall of Fame induction, he's going to be the one in the comments that's been like, yeah, remember that one time he bowled 152 and won a title? And then everybody's going to clown on him in the chat. Anyway. All right. Well, that's the ladder. Congrats, Marshall. I believe that was his 9th or 8th title. So I think he's got 1 or 2 more till he's available for the Hall of Fame, which is pretty cool. I'm sure he'll get that. Kid's a hell of a bowler, and finds a way to win a title almost every year at this point, it seems like. So yeah, I don't know what happened to Mike, but I'm going to go through the tournament awards. And since Mike is kind of having technical issues here, kind of would like you guys to tell me who your awards are going to be. So I'm not talking to myself at this point because Mike's not helping me on the tech side here. So
why did you mute me?
Because I can't see you and you're like completely crushing the audio feed right now with noise.
Oh, is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Even it's still like that.
Yeah, it's just feedback, and now I can't even see you. You're dark.
Wow, it's crazy. It's not showing up that way on my end. Yeah, I'll be honest. StreamYard is not working real well tonight.
Not for me. That's flawless for me.
Yeah, I can't. I can't get it to work. Can you hear and see me now? Is there still feedback or
only? I think when I talk.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. All right. So let's get through these tournament awards, and then we can wrap it up. Because I don't know if we can keep this the way we're doing it right now. All right, let's talk with ICU Hoss. You want to go first? Or you go first.
No, go ahead. You go first.
I'm going with Zach Wilkins. Zach Wilkins has been bowling sneakily good this year, I think. And I think he's just knocking on the door right now for a show. And I probably wouldn't surprise me to see Zach make a show here in the next 3 tournaments.
Okay. All right. I'm going Numan Siamhi Yusri from Singapore. I see you, Hoss. Averaging 235, qualifying 15th. Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, Goose in the chat. I know the feedback is horrible. I know. We know we have technical issues tonight. So I'm going to mute you, Mike, while I'm talking.
Okay.
My next award, we're gonna go with who took the heat and who didn't take the heat. I'm gonna give both awards here. I think who took the heat, and believe it or not, yes, Marshall Kent bowled 152 to win, but in reality, Marshall was just as lost as Boog was in that match. Marshall, I think, missed the head pin twice to the left, close to it, right? Crazy to think because he just bowled a 250 the last game and had 279 going in the 10th. How it went from 270 to strike out to not even bowling 150 is crazy. How quick the lanes transition, or how just quickly you can get lost bowling on a tough shot in a TV pair with lights and all of that. But he did make a great ball switch, and he did throw three in a row at the end of that game to win and find a way not to lose that match 136 to like 132. Because I think that would have been crazy. And that would think you'll never see that ever again. But 150 to 130 is still a low game. I don't think you'll ever see that again. But yeah, he found a way to get it together, made a ball switch, and then struck out in a sense to win a title. So for me, that's taking the heat. Who didn't take the heat? I mean, obviously that's Boog. I mean, you can't give it to anybody else, in my opinion. The guy bowled 130 in the final match for leading a total pin tournament, Mike. This was not a match play tournament. This was a total pin tournament who led, averaging, what did he average? 240 plus to lead this tournament, and then bowled 150, 130 in the finals. Crazy. But I mean, that's the way bowling is, man. So yeah, that's my awards.
Timmy Tan didn't take the heat.
That's it. Okay. Well, I'm gonna do ride with and not ride with. Honestly, I'm not riding with Belmo, Mike. He finished 18th in this tournament. Yo, these are the tournaments before in year, let's say maybe 2-3 years ago, Mike, in a total pin tournament. This is the tournament that Belmo was almost a given to make a show. My opinion. Like if you would have ran a tournament like this like 3-4 years ago and Belmo wasn't on the show, we would have been shocked, right? Total pin tournament, no match play, just games, right? And finish 18th. I think there's something a little bit more there than we know. And I'm not sure. And we talked about this in our preview of the season. Is this the time when Belmo is starting to regress, right? Due to the age, due to the travel, or is it just he hasn't got it together yet? So that's what I'm not riding with. And then I'm going to ride with Marshall. I try to stay away from riding with the people who win. I think that's just kind of an obvious cop-out answer. But I would love to hear his thoughts on winning the way he did in the car and his performance in that final match. Or if he's just kind of happy a win's a win, kind of how what I talked about before, or if he's just the type where he just won a title, but kind of feels like kind of a little bit like, well, I bowled 150. Like it's still like, I'm not really that happy. I'd be curious to hear his thoughts. All right, Mike, I'll ask you.
Not riding with Dom Barrett. It's going to be a boring ride probably anyway. And yeah, he bowled great all week until it really, came down to the final rounds. And my ride with, despite his poor performance on the TV show, would be Timmy Tan. Just because I feel like it would be a fun ride, and he bowled pretty well, made a TV show. Yeah, I'd like to talk to him about that funky backswing he's got. And I just think it would be a fun ride.
By the way, I know Dom Barrett. I've talked to him a million times. I would consider him a friend, to be honest with you. Yo, he's hilarious. If anybody knows Dom, I would love to ride with Dom because Dom is a freaking funny dude. And he's got a really good sense of humor. So I don't know where you got this like boring, like quiet thing that's gonna happen.
Hold on. To me, it's a lot of it is about music choice, and he strikes me as like an 80s yacht rock guy maybe, and like I just can't roll like that. I can't do it. and it's going to be a quiet ride. My not ride with it's it's going to be a quiet ride. So what are you going to be doing? You're going to be listening to the radio, right? And you're going to be listening to the music. So a lot of it is about music choice for me. And I just picture my music choice and Don Barrett's music choice being at opposite ends of the spectrum. So yeah, not a quiet ride I want to take.
Got it. All right. My Sweep the Rack Mush Award and Reverse Mush Award. My Mush Award is going to be going to Spencer Robarge, because after the first tournament of the year, I thought Robarge was going to be a problem on tour this year. I thought we were going to see him making, numerous shows. I thought we were going to see him battling 4 shows, top 10, top 15. And I thought Robarge was going to come out of the gate like just absolutely like swinging on tour. And that hasn't been the case. I think Robarge has been struggling. And he finished low this week, like a lot of lefties did. But he definitely has been struggling a little bit, and I think it's the learning curve too that's taking place on tour. You could be the greatest junior bowler, college accomplishments, college achievements, but ultimately you're still going to have to find a way to win and beat the best in the world, because these guys, that's what they are, and it's hard to. My reverse mush is going to Marshall Kent. I don't think we talked a lot about Marshall Kent. I don't think we even gave him any kind of talking points or acknowledgement when we talked about in our season preview. And yeah, I mean, he wins a title. He sneaky finds a way to win, and so yeah, shouts to Marshall. So that would be my awards. The Mush Award going to Spencer, and my reverse mush going to Marshall.
Did I miss anything, or is it just the mush and reverse?
The mush. I'm gonna remove you out of that. So yeah. My mush award. My mush award was Spencer Robarge, because he hasn't really done anything since the first tournament, and then Marshall Kent.
Well, my mush and my reverse mush go to the over under in this show, because your boy was betting some over unders, and whatever way I bet, the game went the other way. So yeah, if you could have bet against me in the over unders, you would have made a fair amount of money this week. So that's my mush and reverse mush. It's me and the over unders.
I'm happy I was out of state, because betting on this show would have been a nightmare, because you think it's going over and then it goes under, then you think it's going under and it goes over. Nightmare. If you're not guessing the right way, there was no strategy on these shows on who was going to win, what the scores were going to be like. It was complete blind side in a sense. Sometimes when you're betting and you get a sense of what's going on in the shows, you can get a pretty good feel and you could start winning. And this show, I was completely in my own mind, I was betting what would I bet this match, and I would have lost. I would have took a beating. So I'm happy I was out of state, in a state that didn't allow betting. So all right, milk carton. My milk carton award, Mike, Wes Malott goes my milk carton. Finished 31st, got a cash spot, and also bowled a 300, which was shown on the social media. It shows, hey, look, Big Nasty still could play, still get a check, still bowls 300. And I think they showed a clip of Wes as a younger guy on TV bowling, and man, you forget how good he was when he was bowling those shows, and he was a powerhouse. The stuff that he could do with a bowling ball at the bottom of a swing was crazy to me. So yeah, Mike, milk carton.
Mitch Hoope.
That's it. 1 word, 2 word answer for Mike. Mitch Hoope. All right, dumpster diving, Mike. For me, this is going to be the first time in the history of Sweep the Rack that I'm giving a dumpster diving award to 6 players. Okay, I'm going to read the 6 players.
You're stealing my idea here. It's all the lefties.
Matt Sanders, Kevin Williams, Justin Knowles, Matt Russo, Spencer Robarge, Andy Nair, and Nate Stubler. all finished below 82nd place, Mike. They were all like 5 or 6 of them were all grouped together in like the late 80s. Mike, how bad was the left?
The dumpster this week was just full of lefties. If you wanted a lefty, just climb in the dumpster. They were like a dime a dozen in there. They were all in there.
And I forgot Packy. Packy was in there too. That's crazy. Usually you see one of these lefties in the top 24. And this week you didn't see any of them. So yeah, crazy week for the left-handers. I have a feeling after watching the Masters for a couple of days for a little bit today, I think the left is gonna have it a little bit better this week at the Masters. All right, Mike. That's really all we have for the tournament awards. So do you want to wrap up? Do you want to do how to fix bowling? Do you want to just get the worst of the week? Mike, you're on mute. Oh, I think I lost Mike again. Let me try to get him off mute here. Man, we are struggling tonight.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, let's just go worst of the week.
Okay, well, let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike, I got a good one this week.
Hold on, I gotta give a shout out to somebody in the chat here that wants a shout out. What up, Gibney? What's going on? Your boy has a broken leg. No one even checks in on me. I appreciate it. Thanks. One's going well. But go ahead, Rob. Worst of the week.
Yeah, I'll put you on mute here, but I got a good one. And
Jesus.
I got a really good one. So I'm going to be adding this to the stage. I don't even got to play the video, Mike. Oh, I lost Mike on worst of the week. Oh, Lord. Okay, well, I'm going to add this to the stage here and show you guys my worst of the week. Oh, you're back. You're back. Okay. You there? Can you hear me? I can't do this. I'm so done with this. Oh my God. Mike is killing me tonight trying to do this episode. All right. Let me add this to the stage here so you guys we can get this moving. Let me see if I could all right. So I saw this reel come across my Instagram. Okay. And this guy's bowling. It looks like he's got his own shoes. He's got his own ball. And the caption of this says, day 67 of no, and there's a cat emoji, came bowling just to finger some holes. Okay. Let me read this again for the people out there. Day 67 of no cat emoji, came bowling just to finger some holes. That is my worst of the week. This guy deserves worst of the week. I think maybe worst of the year at this point for posting this. But it definitely made me laugh, and it definitely made me want to share this. Mike, are you there?
Yeah.
Can you see my worst of the week?
Was it about the poker guy?
No. Did you read the caption?
No.
Can you see it?
I can't.
It says guy bowling. It says day 67 of no cat emoji, came bowling just to finger some holes. Worst of the year. So my guy goes to whoever this reel was. I think it was El Knows Wad. So congrats.
Okay. My worst of the week, well, it goes to me. It goes to me, actually, for all my technical difficulties tonight. But worst of the week goes to Bowlers Limited, Bowlers Ltd. okay, you definitely get worst of the week bowlers LTD, because they're running a March Madness, or they were running a March Madness contest of favorite bowling social media channels. Okay, they had 16 nominees. 16 nominees. And guess who they didn't put in this, John? Sweep the Rack.
Oh.
And I'm upset about that. I'm highly upset about that. Bowlers LTD. Whoever you are, I'm logging off after this. I'm going to be honest. It's been a frustrating night for me. I'm sorry. I apologize for the technical problems. It wasn't all my fault. I'll try and get it worked out for next week. I apologize. But I'm going to log off from here. Okay? Bowlers LTD. We got beef. We got beef. Yo.
All right.
It's been a frustrating night, day, etc. I'm fried, Hoss. To the bowling community out there, I'm just letting you know your boy is fried. All right, your boy is fried. I need some time, okay? I'm more fried than Simo in episode 2 of Born to Bowl, all right? And that's somewhat fried, pretty fried. But we heard from Kevin Williams that when Simo goes into that mode, he usually beats the world. So I don't know. Like maybe there's something to that. But your boy's going to log off at this point. Rob, wrap it up for us, all right? I apologize for the technical difficulties tonight.
All right, everybody. All right, see ya. All right, I'm going to wrap this up here. All right. Final thoughts. Masters is this week. Dumpster diving is always going to be at its premium at the Masters. It's probably about 400 or so entries that a lot of those guys probably are going to be not bowling very great. The shot is really hard. They're using a flat pattern. There is a lot of lane play that goes on with these bowlers. They're playing all over the place. Scores are going to be low. So yeah, it should be an interesting, just tournament as it always is. The bracket is always fun. It's always great to watch these matches. The 3-game total matches are always fun to watch. A lot of those go down to 10 frame. There's a lot of drama. So yeah, it'll be a great tournament as it always is. And then yeah, it'll be on CW this coming Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern. So check it out. If you guys follow us on social media, Mike is at the 215 at Twitter. I'm at Brooklyn Rob 11. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe to YouTube, subscribe, all that good stuff. Help us out. Yeah, we appreciate everybody as always. I know this wasn't a great episode in the sense of Mike had technical issues. We will figure that out. As for next week, I still need to talk to Mike, but I think I might have to go away for work for about 3 or 4 days at this point. So I might have to push the episode for the week later. Not sure yet. We will let everybody know on our Facebook page. So if you don't follow us, do that so you can keep up to date on what's going on. But yeah, we appreciate everybody. Again, apologize about all the audio and technical issues that Mike had tonight, and we'll try to get it together for next week. Yeah, but peace out, everybody. Have a great rest of your night.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.